The death toll from the May 15 bombing of a mosque in Gadan village, Gezawa local government area of Kano State, has risen to 21. This comes after 4 more victims of the incident died, raising the figure to 21 from the 17 reported last week Tuesday, May 21st. The chairman of Friends of the Hospital, Alhaji Bature Abdulaziz, revealed that the latest development on Thursday. Now, a total of 25 early morning worshippers were injured in the mosque bombing attack. While 1 person died on the date of the incident, 20 have died at the Muhammad Specialist Hospital, Kano, where they had been receiving treatment, leaving only 4 surviving. A 38-year-old man, Shafi'u Abubakar, had attacked the mosque with a locally fabricated bomb, injuring many. The governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, has visited the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, over the Emirate Tussle in the northwest state. Thursday's meeting was held at the NSA's office in Abuja, with the governor tagging it a fruitful engagement. The duo met following the dissolution of 5 emirates by the Kano State House of Assembly through the repeal of the state emirate law and the subsequent restoration of Emir Muhammad Sanusi II by the governor. In a statement after the meeting, the governor's spokesperson Sanusi Bature said the men deliberated on several issues including state, national development and the peaceful coexistence of the nation. Now we head to Rivers State, where the High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has issued an interlocutory injunction barring 25 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly from parading themselves as members of the House. The 25 lawmakers, led by Martin Samaule and loyal to the Minister of the Federal Republic of Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, had on December 13, 2023, defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. Factional Speaker of the House, Victor Okojombo, and 2 others had dragged the 25 lawmakers to court, seeking that they should be stopped from parading themselves as members of the House of Assembly following their defection to another political party. Now also joined as defendants in the suits are the Rivers State Governor, the Attorney General of the state, and the Chief Judge of the state. Earlier, rights lawyer Ekine Henry was on the news and shared his thoughts on this. 10 people have been rescued after a 3-story building collapsed in the Saleko area of Lagos State on Thursday. The structure, alleged to have been defective, gave way following a fire in parts of Dosumu Market on Lagos Island. The Lagos Territorial Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ibrahim Farinloye, who confirmed the incident, said 14 other buildings were seriously impacted by the fire. While providing an update about the incident to News Central, Director of Operations, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Olarinde Akinsonya, said the Permanent Secretary of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Olufemi Damilola Okeosonyotolu, led the rescue efforts. Our News Central correspondent, Niyi Omoni, joins us from the site of the building collapse for an update. Hello, Niyi. Thank you so much for joining us. Niyi, can you hear me? All right, so if you can hear me, Niyi, go ahead and tell us what the situation of things is, at the moment.
Okay, if you can hear me, Darshan, so far so good, as spoken or information given to us yesterday by the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority that there's going to be a ground zero operation as at this morning. Well, a few minutes ago there was an heavy downpour, so of course operations couldn't start. But as we can see, there are few members of the Lagos State Building Control Agency trickling in, and of course I'm trying to check their equipment. I want to believe that the ground zero operation will begin shortly. Now let me quickly explain what the ground zero operation is like. They are going to clear the rubbles here and move everything that is in there out, so that that place will be completely plain and people can probably apply it. Now, as to what else would happen to the buildings just right beside it, for now, we do know that people are still there living, and I'm not sure they've been given any sort of information as to if the building will be coming down or not. But we do know that this place is going to be cleared in a few minutes. Those are the informations I have for you right now, Darshan.
All right, Nii, were there any victims, when the building collapsed?
Yes, according to the information we got yesterday that was given to News Central, 10 victims were pulled out of the rubble, 8 completely okay, 2 sustained minor injuries. And of course, when we got in this morning, we tried to get more information as to whether all the victims or whether other people under the rubble. But from what we heard, no one else was under the rubble. In fact, some of them said, some of the residents of this area mentioned that they moved close to the rubble just to, lean in and hear if there will be sounds or of any victim from there, but they didn't hear anything. So we would assume that no one is under the rubble. But of course, the officials, the emergency authority will be the ones to be able to tell us if they have accurate data or information as to how many workers or contractors were working on the project, because the reason for these caving in, according to what we heard, was because of the ongoing renovations that was being done on the 3-story building, and with something which they call the penthouse, so we can say a 4-story building, and that's why it caved in. Probably it has moved away from its the normal structures it's supposed to erect. We can't tell for a fact, but of course, when the ground zero operation starts fully, we'll get more information as to why this happened, what will happen next, and if any other information we can get from them. But we do know that from the building opposite it right now on my left-hand side, evacuation is ongoing. We don't know if it's as a result of these the building that caved in just opposite it, but we know that they've been told to evacuate. They are not telling us who, they're not telling us why, but we see people clearing their things out of that place. But because of the rain has started again, so I can't give you a perfect view of what is really happening behind me. But we do know that in few minutes, hopefully, but the rain has kick-started again, this ground zero operation should begin at this particular location.
All right, hopefully everyone has been pulled out of the rubble. But you talked about, the building opposite it. What about the building beside it? Because I'm still seeing, it looks like people are still living there. I'm talking about the building beside the one that has collapsed. Have they told people to evacuate that building as well? And still talking about, the possibility of that particular building probably collapsing as well. Are there any tests? Do you have an idea if there are any tests that would be conducted to, ascertain if the building is, strong enough to withstand whatever impact?
Well, Darshan, one of the peculiarities with structures or buildings on the Lagos Island is how close that they are together, and to be able to tell if these buildings are actually strong enough or if they've passed the distress strength, if it's distress standard, if we can put it that way. I'll start from this building just on my left, which is just beside the building that just collapsed, which is the green building. I think it's a 4 or a 3-story building with something like a penthouse, just similar to what just caved in. And you will see that I could bet from what I could see here, you wonder how these buildings were erected so close to each other at the time like these, and they were leaving. But I want to believe that once the agency comes in, they will be able to tell us if that green building will also go down, if it's pass the integrity test. And just behind it, behind this building that just caved in, you will see another building which there is ongoing renovation going on. And this brings to the fore one more time the questions that have been asked. This one that caved in was marked for demolition. Why was it not down as at now? The one at the back there is being renovated. Does the Lagos State government has proper information or adequate information as to that this building is being renovated? Do they know how many contractors are working there? So that in case of emergencies like this, they can actually keep records and track and know how many people they are going to plan for in terms of rescue operation. These are the questions. And if you go across the island, even on the street, you might still see some buildings that have been marked for demolition. And till now, these buildings are not down. These are one of the questions I hope to pose to the General Manager of the Lagos State Building Control Agency. When he comes in, we heard he will be coming in. When he comes in and this building ground zero operation will start, that this building has been marked earlier. Why was it not brought down? Why wait till now? So these are the questions, Darshan.
Well, it's wonderful how some of these buildings are constructed in Lagos State, but we will definitely reconnect with you at a later time to give us an update when you ask the questions and also updates on what is happening there. Thank you so much, Nia Moni. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has commissioned the Wuye Link Bridge and interchange in the federal capital, Abuja. Now, President Tinubu assured that the current administration will continue to invest in infrastructure as a foundation for the prosperity of the nation. Amadin Uyi reports.
Senior officials strong the Wuye Link Bridge for the commissioning of the bridge connecting the Wuye to the Wuse district of Abuja.
This is one of the projects I think that the people of FCT will always cherish. When we were inaugurated and we sat down to look at projects that we can complete within time and that has value, that can impact positively on the lives of the people. In fact, residents of this district have lost hope. If anybody is very familiar with this terrain.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory says that the non-completion of the project had caused untold hardship to citizens, especially as it has spanned several years.
This job was awarded in 2009. 2009, 15 years thereabout, at a cost of 34 billion naira. But before you came in May 29, it was reversed to 74 billion. So you can imagine 15 years we are struggling to construct just one interchange.
President Bola Tinubu, who was expected to commission the project, says that the completion of the bridge will improve traffic around the axis and improve the lives of citizens in the area.
For all of us and for the country as a whole, the completion of this facility brings security of life close to our people, making the people central focus of our development.
He assured that government will continue to invest in infrastructure as a foundation for prosperity.
We are investing in essential services such as water supply, electricity, and road network. We are laying the groundwork for economic growth and prosperity, social progress, and improvement in the quality of life for all residents of Abuja Capital Territory.
The project marks the third key infrastructure President Bola Tinubu will be commissioning in the last 3 days within the federal capital. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to security matters. The Secure Nigeria Group has called on the federal government to rise up to the responsibility of ensuring the security of both lives and property of her citizens, especially in Plateau State. The group, led by Barrister Redzi Jugo, was speaking in Jos during an event to call for the National Day of Mourning for 30 people killed 7 years ago in Nikendoro area of Basa local government area of Plateau State. News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe tells us more.
The Global Rights and Initiative for Peace, Justice and Development, as well as many other non-governmental organizations, have continued to call for justice for the lives of innocent people during attacks in the states. Leader of the group regretted that food security, which has resulted from insecurity in some parts of the state, may continue to linger because of poor agricultural practices if nothing is done to bring back peace on the plateau. The prayers of Secure Nigeria Group, among others, is that compensation be paid by the federal government, as well as culprits brought to book to serve as deterrent to others.
Not only will be the culprits fished out, punished appropriately, but that compensation be paid to each and every head that died on that day, for all the men, women, and children. We ask that ₦1 billion each for every death that occurred in Kedoro should be sent as compensation. And make no mistake, it is not going to be able to bring those people back. We know that. But how else would the federal government be able to show that it means well for its people?
The group called on the Nigerian military to do all within its powers to flush out the bad eggs within its system for more effectiveness in the fight against insurgency.
All the job, all the work that the Nigerian army is doing, and which is very commendable. Whatever it is that is being done, we have a few bad eggs that are spoiling the work that is being done. And we say today that till those people are held accountable, that there will be no peace the way we want it in Nigeria. There's a lot that has been going on in Plateau State, in the Middle Belt, and in Nigeria. But except you are bringing those who are complicit to book, the war against terrorism in Nigeria and in Plateau State will not be able to end.
They further called for a national day of mourning for the victims, while a signpost engraved with the names of the 30 victims of the tragic incident 7 years ago was later unveiled and mounted at the middle of Nikendoro in memory of them. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyui.
Following an advocacy by co-host of News Central's A Place at the Table, Funke Treasures, on the deplorable state of roads connecting the Wole Soyinka train station in Abeokuta, members of the House of Assembly have asked them, that's the state government, to look into the status of infrastructure in the area. In this special report, News Central's special correspondent on investigative journalism, Marshal Anthony Ononye, visited the location and tells us more.
Following several outcries by residents and visitors alike on the deplorable state of roads linking about 52 communities with the Wole Soyinka train station in the capital city of Abeokuta, the Ogun State House of Assembly had appealed to the state government to take up the responsibility of fixing the roads, which Dakwa Abiodun's government had said is not within the purview of the state government.
These roads that we're talking about is not a matter of federal government or state government per se, but you must obtain approval from the federal government. They must release it to you, else they will say you don't do it, you cannot do it, it is our road.
The Ogun State House of Assembly had on Tuesday 14th May passed a resolution calling on Governor Dakwa Abiodun's government to begin urgent construction on the Kemta-Olokuta-Idiaba Road through the Abeokuta train station. This call to the governor by the members of the House might not have been unconnected with a strong advocacy and what seemed to be the last straw to lend a voice on the deplorable state of the road by News Central's co-host of the talk show, A Place at the Table, Funke Treasures, who had taken a moment on the show to call out the state and federal government for shelving their responsibilities towards seeing to the state of the roads.
That advocacy touched the nerves of certain people, the fact that it was a multimedia piece that could be shared and people could begin conversations with it. I think it helped. And then again, I know that because it got through to the governor and the state assembly, and then to, I think, you know, the right people, it's sort of made the state government and the legislature, the state legislature, to take action. And I think that is a very good thing. This is the kind of journalism we want.
On a visit to the train station, we found the roads completely unmotorable and passengers could barely get to their final destinations but for the commercial motorcycle riders.
Muna dauko facinza muna hwadowa da shi bayan mun fade da shi waɗanda suke kusa ga lokacin suna ganin laifin mu kaman da gangan ne muke musamman ko hanya ce ba kyau.
The road is bad.
the accessibility to this place, the road is very bad. I'm talking of Wole Soyinka train station. It's very, very bad. That's why if people coming from Lagos, Ibadan, if they came here now, they will say the taxi people are charging them, instead of they should collect 500, they are collecting 1,015 because the road is not good.
Ṣé ibi tẹ́ ń wò tó ń dọ̀dà sí ó déwájú ibẹ̀ náà ṣe dé tẹ́ bá wo ibẹ̀ náà ibi tọ́dà díẹ̀ náà ló dé so wá dẹ̀ ti máa ń complain tipẹ́tipẹ́ because àwọn passenger gan complain pé ọ̀nà yóò dáa ó ń mú káwa gan ká in fact gan afẹ́ lè má máa wá ibà mọ́ torí ojoojúmọ́ là ń náwó sí mọ́tò kò sí ijọ́ kan àbọ̀sẹ̀ kan ká máa lọ sábìlì mẹ́kò lọ ṣe ọwọ́ in fact àwọn àgbẹ̀dẹ gan ti fẹ́ gba owó wa tán.
On a chat with the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Oludaisi Alemide, I queried the level of deplorable roads within Ogun State, especially within and around communities bordering Lagos State.
Let me tell you, because most of this industry have their headquarters in Lagos State, head offices in Lagos State, most of their taxes are captured with Lagos State, and we say, okay, we have it here. So it's just like having those companies, they will say they need water, they need this road, but the mudu, the way I will call it, does not land in Ogun State, because it is our role to deliver good governance.
There is no government all over the world that can boast that at a trench or at a goal, you will do every road in a particular state. And what we want to assure our people is this: if your community is not catered for in this 2024 budget, you should be rest assured that in 2025, your community will be budgeted for.
There is no doubt in the minds of residents and visitors alike that fixing these roads will revitalize economic activities, enhance safety, and improve the overall quality of lives of the residents.
So then you begin to look at places like Magboro, and you wonder why the Ogun State government is not doing anything about that place. I mean, you find a lot of middle-class Nigerians in that place, yet all the roads into Magboro and out of Magboro is bad. Should we be talking about Akute? It's the same thing. I understand that finally they have the approval of the federal government to fix the Ota Road. But have you been to Ota Road? My goodness, it is horrible.
If these advocacies must be put to rest, then it might be high time the Ogun State government hearkens to the call of the people to take up the responsibility of fixing these roads. For News Central, Marshall Anthony Onaya.
Thank you, Marshall. Now to health matters. The Lagos State government has initiated a medical outreach program for all Lagos residents to lower the cost of health care. The initiative, known as Alafia Eko, will target the most vulnerable residents in Lagos State, numbering a total of 50,000. News Central's Adeshawa Odushoga reports.
As the nation's economy continues to deteriorate, it is becoming more difficult to buy necessities due to rising food and other commodity prices, as well as the cost of prescription medication and healthcare services. To this effect, the Lagos State government has begun a free medical outreach aimed at providing essential healthcare services to 50,000 residents across the 6 health districts in the state. According to Special Advisor to the state government on health, Kemi Ogunyemi, the initiative, tagged as Alafia Eko, is under the Eko Care Socio-Economic Intervention Program, aimed at addressing the economic challenges in the state.
We also have Lashman, which is our Ilera Eko, which is a health insurance. And the whole idea of that is that when people buy health insurance, for 1 year, they will not have to pay for certain drugs. Now, it's not all drugs, but your basic drugs, your basic care will be free. And that is huge for citizens because they can't get that anywhere else.
The outreach will be done in 2 phases, with the launch of the first one in May and the second phase to be kick-started later in June.
So there's a way they determine here, there's a questionnaire they will use to find out if you're a vulnerable person, someone who can't afford treatment, who can't afford access by themselves, and they will get access to free treatment for a year.
You can see the number of turnouts. The program now that we are expecting 500 today for the first day. By now, the accreditation has reached over 400, meaning that the people are ready.
The beneficiaries here have access to free medical checkups and treatment, HIV counseling and testing, consultation, eye examinations, free glasses and health insurance, among others.
I complain of my leg, then I complain of headache, short of blood. They gave me tonic. The tonic they gave me, when we get to the market, they are selling it 4,000.
I benefit a lot from here today because I don't have the chance. We are just working. You don't have the chance to go to this hospital to check up or anything. It's because of the situation of Nigeria. We are just working that I want to eat, But thanks to Lagos State for giving us this opportunity to come here. That bring us medical checkup nearest to us.
The eco-care intervention under whose umbrella the Alafia Eco is categorized covers 4 major sectors, which include transportation, education, health, and agriculture. According to the state government, the Alafia Eco initiative is expected to improve primary health care efficiency and ensure equitable access to quality medical services in the state. In Lagos, for News Central, Adeshewa Odushoga.
Still talking health. In a step towards destigmatizing menstruation and improving menstrual hygiene practices in Nigeria's northeastern region, the water, sanitation and hygiene sector has launched a comprehensive training program for students. This followed calls by UNICEF and other stakeholders on government and policy makers to increase investment and prioritize the management of menstrual hygiene as a key public health issue. News Central's Umar Kirawa completes the report.
The initiative, implemented in partnership with some schools, focuses on educating both female and male students on the importance of menstrual health and the proper management of menstruation.
I've learned how to take care of myself and how to do so many things, and I want to do this to teach my younger ones.
Through interactive sessions and practical demonstrations, students are equipped with essential knowledge and skills to ensure their well-being during menstruation.
We are very, very much happy to see you people have intervened in this kind of menstrual hygiene. It is the role of parents, but now it's the role of everybody.
The sector, through an assessment and verification, is able to provide the supplies to the community, and especially targeting the young girls to support them with menstrual hygiene.
Experts say investing in menstrual health is not just about providing pads and tampons. It is about ensuring that girls or women have access to accurate information, safe and affordable menstrual products, and the necessary infrastructure to manage their menstrual cycles with dignity.
In 93 schools, we have been able to reach out with training programs on menstrual hygiene management, and then we have trained about 330 girls in these schools on issues of MHM. We have also trained about 321 women on MHM, and also trained them on how to make pads and how to make soaps.
Prioritizing menstrual hygiene by the government is believed to have a profound impact on the overall well-being of individuals, particularly women and girls.
We are trying to provide water and sanitation facilities in schools so that girls are able to manage menstruation well. We are trying to provide hygiene education in the schools, which means not just of teachers but also of for the girls. And we are also trying to ensure that soaps are available, that water is continuously available for washing hands.
Sustained sensitization on social and cultural taboos surrounding menstruation with encouraged open discussions is believed to reduce stigmatization to its lowest ebb. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
A celebrated lawyer and leader of Burkina Faso civil society, Guy Hervé Cam, was kidnapped just hours after being freed from prison. Mouvement Sans, a group which Cam is the national coordinator, said national security agents had left him on open land not far from his home, and immediately another group of armed men took him to an unknown destination. Several kidnappings of people considered hostile to the country's military government, led by Captain Ibrahim Traore, have taken place in the capital, Ouagadougou, over recent months. Burkina's Bar Association released a statement saying that after his apparent abduction, Cam on Thursday appeared before a military judge who ordered him held. Benin's president on Thursday again called on Niger's military rulers to collaborate and reopen their side of the border to allow oil exports via the country. Benin has eased trade restrictions on its side of the border, that's the Niger border, after sanctions were imposed on Niger following a coup in July last year. But Benin President Patrice Talon has for weeks complained that Niger's rulers were not cooperating to restore ties and formally normalize trade. The Benin president has been pushing for the military rulers to formally normalize trade rather than allow informal border crossings. The closure of Benin's northern border with Niger hit Benin's government revenues and also impacted the cost of food and goods. As votes continue to be tallied after a hotly contested general election with ANC majority on the line, some young South Africans in Johannesburg have expressed their hope for change. If President Cyril Ramaphosa's party is confirmed as dropping below 50%, it would force him to seek coalition partners to be re-elected to form a new government. Now, this would be a historic evolution in the country's democratic journey.
I voted well. I voted for different party. Hopefully it's going to change. The people in power hopefully are going to come down and we're going to have a new political party.
My experience, it was just fine. But the way I see it, I see that there will be changes regarding provincial elections, things like that. I see that the difference is there because I was looking also the results in 6 a.m. in the morning. I see that DA is winning via the Gauteng side, and that's what I was expecting, yes.
Meanwhile, analysts have predicted a big downfall for the fill-in party African National Congress, that's the ANC, and on the course to lose its 30-year-old unchallenged majority. Now, this would be a historic evolution in the country's democratic journey. The ANC has dominated South Africa's democracy with an unbroken run of 5 presidents from the party. On Wednesday, voting was marked by hours-long queues in many districts, which in some cases forced polls to remain open well beyond closing time.
But we're seeing a historic moment. The historic moment is that our numbers are now showing us that the ANC is likely to settle at 42% of the national vote in South Africa. The DA at about 20%, the EFF maybe 9%. What is still up in the air, but totally surprising, is that the MK party for now is at about 14% prediction of the national vote. So the EFF and the MK party are competing for a position, let's put it like that. In my own calculations, the ANC is exactly where I predicted it would go. And actually, even without...
Now, for an update on this, I'm being joined by News Central's correspondent, Bongani Siziba in South Africa. Hello, Bongani. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you go ahead and tell us the update? All right, fantastic. So what update do you have for us regarding the election, Bongani?
Just after yesterday night, it's around 12 p.m. when results continued to trickle in all throughout the night up until this morning. And on the national board, 3 above 9,000. Also, now over one. Those additional most price.
All right, Bongani, your network is really bad and we can barely make out what you're saying, but we'll try to reconnect with you in our subsequent bulletin to give us more update. Thank you. All right, civilians were fleeing on Thursday as Rwanda-backed M23 rebels closed in on another strategic town in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The March 23 movement resumed its armed campaign at the end of 2021, seizing swaths of territory in the North Kivu province. The Congolese army has tried to push back against the rebel group, which has almost entirely encircled Goma, the capital of the North Kivu province, where hundreds of thousands of displaced people have sought shelter. The rebels were now closing in on the town of Kanyabayonga, which is on the road to Goma. Goma lies on the way to the key cities of Butembo and Beni and is home to about 60,000 people, apart from tens of thousands of displaced people who are sheltering there. Now, in other news from around the world, former President Donald Trump says the real verdict would be the U.S. election in November after a New York jury convicted him on all charges in his hush money case on Thursday. A New York jury had found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records on Thursday, the first time a former U.S. president has been convicted of a crime. The verdict was read in the Manhattan courtroom where Trump had been on trial since April 15. He had pleaded not guilty to all 34 counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payment made by his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to adult film star Stormy Daniels in the final weeks of the 2016 presidential election.
This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
In Mexico City's emblematic Zocalo Square, Mexicans share mixed opinions on the presidential candidates ahead of the June 2nd election led by two women, former Mexico City Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum and Senator Xochitl Gálvez, a historic first for the country. Claudia Sheinbaum is the front-runner in Mexico's presidential election, with her closest rival Xochitl Gálvez, also a woman, jostling for the vital position. In business, Nigeria's Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has proposed a central tax agency known as the Nigerian Revenue Service to eliminate over 100 different collection agencies. This was disclosed by the chairman of the committee, Taiwo Oyedele, at a policy exposure workshop with journalists in Lagos. The committee also recommended 800 naira for import duties, streamlined VAT collection to only 5% of the informal sector. Speaking further, the chairman said the over 60 official taxes being collected in the country will be harmonized to just 8. He explained how the advisory body will achieve the targeted harmonization.
Nuisance taxes with very low revenue yield, which are very costly to collect and place a lot of burden on the poor and small businesses. Do away with them. Then focus on high revenue yielding taxes that are broad-based and relatively easy to collect, and they are few in numbers. Then merge them together if they are similar and impose on the same tax base, so that instead of paying 4, I pay only 1. Then keep the total number of
In the world of sports, the Dallas Mavericks will face the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals after beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 4-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving each hit 36 points to lead the Mavericks to a resounding 124-103 victory in Game 5 in Minnesota. Slovenian star Doncic, 25, set the tone with 20 points in the first quarter before Dallas moved into a dominant 69-40 lead at halftime, and the Timberwolves could not fight back. It is the first time the Mavericks have reached the finals since winning their sole NBA title in 2011, and only the third time overall. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that civilians flee as M23 rebels close in on another town in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We also told you that death toll from Kano mosque bombing in May hits 21. And finally, you heard that popular lawyer Hervé Cam abducted in Burkina Faso hours after his prison release. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.